Buddy, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Rob Kominiarek is here to tell you there are ways you can fight cellulite, and it has to do with your diet, you say.
It does. It has to do with the foods that you eat. What we're talking about is that cottage cheese appearance that every woman knows about, that you see on the hips, the thighs, the buttocks, the backs of arms. Every woman hates it. Every woman wants to know, what can I do about this?
But every woman has it, I think, is pretty clear, almost.
I have to tell you, Chicago, I haven't seen any here in the studio today.
No,
so.
except in this newsroom, we're all cellulite free. Let's talk about, is it preventable, though? A lot of people say this is just genetics.
No, it is preventable. And on the screen right now, you can see we have a cross-section of cellulite. And what we're looking at here is fat cells. And you can see that strand of red fiber that binds the skin to the subcutaneous tissue. And what happens is the fat cells grow, it pulls down on that collagenous fiber, and you get that cottage cheese appearance, that orange peel appearance to the skin. And that's what we're talking about. And the foods that you eat affect you on a hormonal basis and tell those cells either store fat or release the fat. And so if you eat the right foods, it tells those cells, hey, we don't need to store anything, we can let it all go, and the cells shrink.
Well, let's talk about that. How do we do it, Dr. Rob?
Well, here we got a picture of that cellulite.
This nice close-up here. In case you didn't know what it looked like, that's what it does. All right, let's talk about the foods you eat. I see some very healthy-looking foods here.
There's some healthy foods here, and there's some that look healthful, but when it comes to cellulite, can contribute to the problem.
Oh.
So we're going to straighten that out here today. If you look here, we see dried fruit and we see grapes. Now, dried fruit has a lot of sugar in it, and what we're talking about here is how fast does food go from food in your mouth to sugar in the blood. And the faster it goes to sugar in the blood, that sends a hormonal message to the fat cells, store the energy. So we want to eat foods that keep our blood sugars lower. So when you're eating dried fruit, blood sugar goes high. Compared to real fruit, it stays much lower.
Good to know, because it isn't the same, and you might think it is. Let's talk about nuts here. I always hear nuts are so good for you. You've got some almonds there and some pecans.
They're fantastic for you. Even though they do have a lot of fat in them, they're loaded with proteins, but they help fight fat. You just don't want to eat too many of them. Another item that people get confused about, pasta. Pasta can contribute to cellulite, but there are really great options. A grain that's full of protein as well, which is called quinoa. Very good, helps to fight the cellulite.
I love quinoa, and it can be so tasty based on it absorbs the flavors of anything you put in it. You've got peppers here. And
yes, you know, all the fruits and vegetables are very helpful. And when it comes to these items, because they raise your blood sugar slowly, you don't store energy as fat, and helps rid the cellulite. One of the things people get confused about is breads. And
you always hear bread, no.
White bread, no way, raises the blood sugar too fast. But over here we have what's called Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread, get this, they've done studies on this, doesn't raise your blood sugar after you eat it.
Okay, and we finally just want to mention, we brought the sprinkly donut here. So we're going to go with no on the sprinkly donut.
That's definitely a no, going to raise the blood sugar, and that's going to contribute to the cellulite. Keep to low sugar fruits and vegetables like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Of course, the king of all fruits, apples.
Yes.
Right? Keep to the broccoli, hummus, which is wonderful, keeping the blood sugar low, and you can help fight that cellulite.
We always hear how good they are, Dr. Rob, but who knew? Cellulite fighters as well. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for breaking it down. More to come here on Good Day Chicago, including a live performance from an up-and-coming pop singer. You're going to love her sound.